Tell us about yourself.
Ladies first.
Okay. My name is Olajumoke. I'm his wife. Is that enough?
All right, so I'm Shay Agule. I'm a husband.
I love it. So I'm just going to delve into the questions because I think that marriage, partnership, parenting are one of the hardest things to experience and the most joyful thing at the same time. Because two opposing things can be true. I've seen you guys for a while. I love your marriage. I think the favorite thing I like about you guys is how you are individually yourselves and how you run your marriage based on your own terms. Juicy. So I wanted you guys to share. Share how you for are hacking it. Cut so for us. So I think my first question would be, how do you define partnership in your marriage? Like how you guys do your unique responsibilities. Now, from what I'm aware of, Uncle Shaya is mostly in charge of the kids. And that's like outside of the cultural norms. So how do you guys navigate it, and why is that the process for you, and how does it work for your partnership and your marriage? So yeah.
So I don't think I don't think we planned it that this is how it's going to go. Before we got married, I remember that we had this list where we had these different sheets of papers in a file where we used to write different things. And at that time, we had written that, oh, God is going to be number one and my spouse is going to be the second person. No, we said, I think initially we wrote that my spouse is going to be the next person. And then we came back to say, no, I am going to be the next person. And then my spouse will be next. And then the children will be next. So God, myself, my husband, and all of that. And I remember that when we changed that thing, we had a conversation about it that the reason we're going to have to do that is because if I am not taking care of myself, I will burden my husband. And if my husband is not taking care of himself, it's going to burden me, because I can't pour from an empty cup. And eventually, when we entered the marriage, it wasn't oh, you're going to be doing this, I am going to be doing this. Whatever was available to do, whoever is available just does it. That's how it works for me. And
So I didn't come into marriage believing in balance. Really, no, I didn't believe in balance. I believe in harmony. And this is what I mean. When you talk about balance, you'll say, oh, this is what the man should do, this is what the woman should do. So if the man isn't doing this, then there's a lot of problem in the family. If the woman isn't doing this, there's a lot of problem in the family. I just feel that if there's something that needs to be done and you are available and you are resourced to do it, just do it. Yeah, so it is still my philosophy till today. If you are not available to do it, communicate in clear terms. I will not be able to handle this right now. But if you can do it, it's okay. So for me, if there's anything in the house that needs to be done, I'll do it. So when it comes to, okay, you said like I take care of the children more. I don't think I would totally agree with that.
okay.
Yeah, the reason is because when it comes to relating with children, you can talk about someone who spends more time, and then we also have what we call like the connectivity. There are some things my children will never allow me to do for them. There are some conversations they want to have that they will never have with me. And I don't force them to do that because I know they are going to talk to their mother. So I might be more in their face as it were. But that, should I call it balance, is still there, that they don't see it as one person is taking care of me more than the other. They just see it as, okay, this is something, I need this person is there to do it for me now. And then they also understand that there are some things that this person will not be able to do for me as well as the other person. So, and like I said, it's just understanding that the two people in marriage, we're a team, and there's nothing like you do your part, I do my part. Just let everything be done, and then in the process, let the communication be very clear.
Let the word be very clear.
Let the communication be very
Communication.
clear. Yeah. That okay, for now I will not be able to do this. And then for now I can do this. And if you need to rely on external help, it doesn't mean It's just so long as the goal is achieved, it's fine. Yeah.
I love it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I like the way you are individually yourself first before you're like now someone's partner and then someone's father and then all of that. I really like that because I think it's not talked about a lot. Because
Yeah.
like you said at the beginning of your marriage, it was God, my spouse, and then my children. Like
Mhm.
where am I in all of that equation? And you guys had to redefine it for yourselves. This was like how long later?
Okay, it was well, so we had done that the first list before we got married.
Mhm.
And then when we were getting married was when we did the second one. So we were not even married when we did the second one.
Right.
So we did it as we entering marriage. But writing it down is different from experiencing it. Yeah. So from time, I don't even know how not to be me, So while it was quite difficult for me at some point because I was trying to, at some point I just wanted my partner to be me in some things. I was like, oh no, can you just like, but then I realized that I was trying to make him me, and which wasn't going to be possible. The reason why we dare so much from time was also because of who he is and the fact that he's different from me. I mean, I'm the just the spark, just go. Like I just keep going, and he's like, no, calm down. So realizing that we're different, and that the difference is what makes us beautiful. That's what makes us have a holistic marriage. Is what makes me feel okay, good. So each time I want to force anything, I'm asking myself, am I forcing him to be who he is not, or I am actually asking him to do what he can do, honestly.
Okay.
So
like leveraging on his strength as
yes,
opposed to trying to
to make him
make his weakness like no, you should have strength in
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say?
For me, I think it stems from the marriage I grew up in. Yeah, because I grew up seeing my mom having to bend over and become somebody else until she lost herself eventually. Just because she was trying to fit into a role or in marriage, you understand. And then, if you also look at the the family from which she came, you also see that because her own mother was a very tough person, and then that didn't make her likable. So it was that trauma, trying to be the good girl. So you know what we call the nice girl syndrome. So when I was going to get married, I told myself I would never stop my wife from doing anything or being whoever she wants to be. I'll never do it. And that's why I won't compare my wife with somebody else. I'll never report my wife to somebody. I'll never do that. Like, if anything happens at home, I won't even report her to herself. Until maybe after everything is done and then I mention it, for me to talk about it to an outsider, I would never do that. Because I just want that kind of freedom, where you are yourself. You're yourself. And your aspirations, your goals, I will support them as much as I can. Anywhere I can, whatever I can do, I will let you know. I'm not able to do this now. But you won't say at the end of the day that, oh, because I married this guy, I had to drop this aspiration, I had to become. No. Be yourself, live your life. I can say I did a lot of homework before I got married, before I understood the person I wanted to marry. And I asked myself if I was ready to have that kind of wife. Once I made up my mind, I closed my mind to virtually every form of distraction. So it doesn't matter how people say it, but people say my mind is made up. I had made up my own mind on. There was a time I thought I would never get married. You understand that? I told my friends that
All the men that have been on the podcast says that.
I said I'm not going to get married because, like I said, I don't want to make a woman become like the person my mother became. When I got to a point when I know that, okay, I'm mature enough to allow somebody to be herself, I think I'm going to get married. Then again, I say, okay, fine. Because I'm not going to be the one who's going to sit on my wife's neck telling her to be this particular way. Anybody I want to marry, I'll ask myself if I can cope with has shortcomings. And once I make up my mind, my mind is made up on what I want to do. Yeah. So that's it for me. You know, did I say trauma now? But background influence.
Yeah.
Background influence.
I think people don't
and
talk a
all.
lot about the effects that are. So please go on.
Yeah, one major thing is that we need to know when you're entering into a relationship, especially marriage. It's never a blank slate. It is never. You are coming with some things from your home, and the level of success you have in your marriage will depend on how well you understand what you are coming into your own marriage with. So, for example, understanding that, oh, okay, this is the kind of family I'm coming from. This is the kind of marriage I grew up under. It helped me create the kind of marriage I wanted to be. Then I was able to look at myself and say, what are the likely challenges I'm going to have? How would I navigate it? What will I do? And then what's the kind of woman I'll marry? Jumoke is not somebody that you can't bully her. So, like, before we got married, I said, one of the things about her, because people say, Shay, you are quiet. It's not like I'm quiet. But people say, Shay, you are quiet. But Jumoke is outgoing. And I say, you know what? I can't marry somebody that I will feel one day that I would have ended up manipulating. Yeah, I say I cannot do that. I cannot. I want somebody who will be able to stand our ground and say our own thing, do our own thing. Because some people, once they get into marriage, probably because of where they are coming from, too, they will say, oh, my husband has said this and they have to do it. And some men might not actually know that they have that kind of influence on their wives. So, was I sure I wouldn't have that? I wasn't particularly sure because I wasn't married. But for me to guide against that, I was looking for someone who would be able to tell me no if I was crossing that line. So I'm quite free with her because I know that once I'm crossing that line, she'll tell me no.
Got it.
Yeah. So
that's so interesting. So two things. You said two things that I'd like you to touch on. One is I don't report out to anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good thing. But when you say I don't even report her to herself, how do you navigate that entire process of how you feel when something is wrong to when you've sat with the feeling of it? How do you process it? How do you take yourself out of it to a point where you feel better and then you probably then talk to her about it in maybe much later? I want you to help me at the very least go through that process of how it's going on in your mind till you feel maybe dissolve from the hurt or pain that you feel. That's one. Two is you said I wanted a woman that would stand her ground. And from the conversations I've had with a lot of my girlfriends and even some of my male friends is that they say that, but some of them are unable to handle it because when they say that, oh, you're not my mom. How does that play when a man says, oh, I want someone that is like maybe my mom or not my mom, and then they also feel like you're controlling because a lot of women get that, especially like strong solid women like Jumoke, because I know her, I know how solid she is, how she would stand her ground. But there's also the part where some men will be like, oh, you're controlling me. How does that work? How do you navigate that?
Oh yeah, so the first question, how do I manage my emotions? To tell the truth, I struggled with it. Initially, I really struggled because, I had made a resolution. I'll never go and meet someone and say, oh, my wife did this to me, let me call and talk to her. I made up my mind. So, is she perfect? No. Was she perfect at that time? No. And did she do some things that really hurt me? Yes. Now, initially, the struggle, one thing I noticed was that it will kind of well up, build up. And then one day, I'll just begin to talk, begin to do things. So now, when I saw that it wasn't really working for me, what I did was to work on myself and say, okay, how do I need to do this to handle it in a more mature way? And one thing that helped me was for me to keep reminding myself that anything that I see that is very hurtful, that is this, it is because that is how she knows how to make things better. That really helped me because if you do something and then let's say for example, we put phones together, wants to do something, she makes a decision because she's a very spontaneous person. She uses the money for something else. Instead of me to get angry and say, all this, the first thing is I'll just tell myself, okay, she saw a better opportunity and then she wanted to do it. So what went wrong? She didn't communicate with me. So if I wanted to bring that up, I'm not going to start condemning or blaming her for doing what she did, but I'm going to say, next time, can you let me know before you make this kind of a decision? So what that did was that, anytime something happens, my own philosophy, there's always the main, let me say the big problem. Let me use that word, big problem. And those subtle things that lead to it. Those things that lead to it are always minor things. Because most of the time we look at the problem. Oh, you wasted money, for example. I'm not saying she wasted money, but I'm just giving an example. You wasted money. Okay, that's a big one. If you focus on that big one, our reaction is not going to be good at all. But if we say, okay, this is the big problem, something led to it, lack of communication, or let me say inadequate communication, and then you can look. If you look at inadequate communication, it will come to you as a minor problem. So when you're talking about it, you are more. Let me say, it's better. Like, am I able? Something like that. So that is what I started doing, looking at, okay, what are the courses, because those courses most of the time don't look to us as big as the effect. Yeah, most of the time they don't look to us as big as the effect. So tell me, before you make such a decision next time, why didn't you what came up? Why didn't you tell me before you did this? Because, and like I said, one of the things I needed to also remind myself, let me say that I need to keep reminding myself, is the fact that there were some things I looked at before I got married. So I knew I was going to marry someone who was intelligent, who made good decisions. So if something goes wrong, I know that, okay, fine, she had good intentions. To her, that was a good decision, but maybe the outcome didn't come out the way we wanted it to. And then we talk about it. So that is better. Reminding ourselves of what the trigger was initially, or let me say what the connection, those things that brought us together initially, it keeps helping us to navigate it. But one thing I made up my mind is, no matter what, no matter the effect of anything, I'm not going to break my word to myself. I'll never sit down with somebody and be reporting my wife. I'll never do that. Maybe it is childhood trauma. I don't know. But I'm never going to do it. I don't know.
Did you have that on your own part of like childhood with your parents?
My dad was always reporting my mom. And my mom was always reporting my dad.
That's where
I never liked it. I never liked it, I remember there was a time I told my mom not to report my dad to me again. Yeah. Because I just felt, I didn't feel comfortable. I'm closer to my mom than my dad till now. It has always been, and then it got to a point I just said, you know what? I know it can be like this, but can you stop talking to me about it?
Why did you make that decision?
It made me feel worse. Anytime she told me that, I felt worse. I know some people, it's until they talk and they feel better, but for me, when I hear some things, it makes me feel worse. Yeah. So I made up my mind, nothing. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Like that. So it's like you saw something that happened that went wrong, and you took a decision to say this will never happen from my own lineage moving forward.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
Well done.
And your second question?
I can't remember because that answer was too good. I think the question to him also goes to you in the case of how do you navigate hurt with him? I don't know if you do, if you report, if you report or not, but how do you navigate when he hurts you?
I'm a talker. Like, I talk. Like, I literally talk for a living. I talk. So when he does something, if I am not talking to him about it, I am writing it down. So it helps me. I process my thoughts with speaking. So sometimes, it's even when I've said something, I'm going to say, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's what I'm trying to get. So I keep talking. And it could be that I'm pacing and I'm processing that, but I don't even let things get to that point. As it's happening like this, I'm giving it back like, oh, you did this, but that's not what we said we're going to do, and all of that. So for me, it's always a come here, I'm going to give it to you. If he ever hurts me and I do not tell him, we should be afraid. Because that's when it's really, I'm trying to see how bad this is and what can I do, to maybe to hurt him, in return. But other than that, if I feel like, so before, I'm going to just tell him straight up, like, and it could be defensive. It could be, oh no, that's not, oh this, oh that's. But there was one thing he's always said to me, since we were dating, he would say, just know that no matter what I do, I will never intend to harm you or to do you wrong, And I have looked at it over the years. Yeah, he might do some things that are painful that looks to me like, why would you do something like that? But I always remember what he said because that word has proven to be true. Yeah, over time, because I know that no, this guy would not intend to hurt me. In fact, because I feel that he's thinking about me more than I am thinking about myself. When he wants to make something, when he wants to make a decision or do something. So I know that okay, as he's processing it, whatever he's doing, he's thinking about me. Like I'm literally right in the middle of that decision. Yes. So not how do you think this will affect me? It's not ever a question. Is when you did it like this, I didn't know you were going to do it like that, and I feel this way about it. It's usually something like that. Not you did this thing and you knew it was going to hurt me, and you deliberately did what was going to hurt me. Do you get? So there's always that balance or that knowing within me. There's a time in this marriage where I felt like, why does Shere feel like a rock? It feels to me like this guy is there. At that time, what I expressed it was that this guy feels like Jesus. When you are doing wrong, you are going about, you are like this person. I can go back and say, God, I'm sorry. I can always go back to Jesus.
Like President General.
That's how I feel. When I'm like, Ishe,
yeah,
I know that it's got me. I know that I can always go back to me. I know that we are there. So that is just one thing that is like ingrained in me. Yeah.
I like the fact that you said like you told me this and it has proven to be true.
Yeah.
And that's because you guys have been married for 10 years.
Yes.
And congratulations, it's your 10th year anniversary.
It's 11th.
11th.
Yes,
oh,
11th this
I was
month.
there thinking it was 10th. It's 11th this month.
Yeah.
Happy wedding anniversary.
Thank you.
How long did you guys date for before you got married? And do you think that has anything to do with how, even in the first years of your marriage, you were able to navigate things? And I say this because from what I deduce from what you said and what you said, you were able to let go of hurt and forgive because you know at the back of your mind that I know who this person is. What they're doing is not commensurate to who they are.
Yeah.
They're only taking this action based on maybe the current situation, the current circumstances, and over and over and over again, they have proven that they have me.
Yeah.
So what I hear is I take who they are over whatever it is that they have done.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful. And I wanted to know, even at the early years of the marriage, how did you guys navigate it? And did your time of dating maybe help with that?
Yeah, we dated for like 4 years. We've been friends for a while though. We met for the first time in 2008.
Was it 8 or 7?
Yeah,
7.
7. Yeah, 2007. 2007, that was when we met. That was around October 2007. Yeah. Just a casual meeting. And then we were friends for a while. I think till 2011. Then we dated from 2011 to 2013.
Right.
And then we got married in 2013.
Right.
So dating and friendship, did it help initially? Yes, it did. Because we took out the time to actually understand each other. I think our dating also, it's kind of old school. let me use that term. The reason was because we were more into planning for what we wanted to build. Yeah. So even the fun we had, like the places we went to, the things we did, wasn't just what it was more of trying to understand the other person. Oh, so what kind of outings do you like? What kind of places do you like to visit? What kind of things do you like to do? I can remember when I took her to museum to make her hair, and then the feedback wasn't really what I wanted. I said, "Oh, okay, so she doesn't like this kind of hair, okay, but she liked the food." I was like, "Okay, fine." So going forward, these are the things you are looking out for in places that we'll be visiting, things like that. So even the fun thing, it was Quara hotels I really liked. So I knew that girl will like places that are very nice,
I'm going to Kwara.
Yeah. But at that time,
It was fancy.
Yeah. Because we went to some places. Then Quara hotel, yeah, she liked it. I said, okay, yeah. So it wasn't most of the things we did weren't just frivolous things. They weren't frivolous. Fine, we had a lot of fun dating, but everything we used everything as an opportunity to understand the other party better. Yeah, so that's why I said it's old school, because yeah, so it really helped us. It helped us in understanding the other person. Yeah, it did. It helped us.
That's good. I love it. I love it. What boundaries or practices has helped you guys to nurture both your relationships and your individual aspirations? Like, what do you put in place to say this and no further regarding my own individuality? So, you guys have your individual businesses, you have the kids, and I know that sometimes it can be too much that it takes away from who the other party is. Like, I'm doing so much that I'm beginning to lose myself. Like the way you said, like your mom lost herself and all. Like, what are the things you put in place to communicate to the other to say, I'm feeling too exhausted playing the roles that are, here for me and I'm forgetting myself? Do you guys communicate it? And when the communication happens, how does the other person show up?